here for folks like us. Wrong city, wrong people.
Alright, welcome back to the channel everybody. Aesop Grim here, and this is the continuation of my Bannerlord 1.4 playthrough. I think it's 1.4, I have forgotten, because we've been doing this for a while now. But we are at war with Britannia, and I actually don't remember what I was on my way to do. I think I was going to drop off prisoners at my castle. I must have just finished that. Okay, so we have food, we have our wife's new fledgling party warband here embedded with us, so we are 222 strong. I'm not good enough for that to take a castle yet. I need like around 500 troops to take a castle, I think. But some of you guys are. I'm just letting you know I'm not there yet. So we can't do that. We got to continue raiding villages. But I'm recording this as of 12:45 a.m. my time, day of. So this is Friday. So this is your Friday video. You guys will be seeing this in just a few hours. And part of that reason was because I wanted to wait and see what Trump had to say. I was hoping he would declare a national emergency. He didn't, not as far as I know. But boy, he sure laid out a lot of stuff regarding not just the 2020 election, but the 2018 midterms also. Remember there was talk of a red wave and then it didn't happen? Some of that is for legitimate purposes. It's just legitimately hard for the party in power to win in the midterms. That's just American tradition. Nothing shady about that. That's just normal American politics. But Trump revealed tonight that there was stuff going on, and that makes total sense to me. Remember, I have a background working with the federal government. I was military, and so I have a little bit, at least, of an innate sense of how things operate, and that sounds exactly like how feds would work. They would come up with a plan, it looks good on paper, they have a whole lot of reason to believe that it'll work because they've thought a lot about it and a lot of experts have weighed in on it, and the plan has been formulated, many hands have cast in, and we've got a battle plan, right? But they would like to test that before they really go live action on their main target. So they're going to test it at the JV League. They're going to test it on something that's a little bit less noticeable maybe. And they did that. They did that in 2018. I think it was Racine, Wisconsin, if I remember right, that the stealing of the 2020 election was practiced right there first. And it worked for them, so then they ran it in 2020, and I do remember Nancy Pelosi saying that they had wargamed their plans, 6 ways to Sunday, and so I think I'm going to take this one. Yeah. So all I'm saying is that it sounds exactly how the government would work, how people who work in government think for 2018 to also have been at least played around with shenanigans, if not outright stolen. And so don't think, in my opinion, don't think that President Trump ever does anything willy-nilly or off the cuff. Not in this stuff. The people that he is up against, they've made plans, backup plans, tertiary plans, and then plans, backup plans, and tertiary plans to those plans. They have thought things through. They have lots of layers of protection. President Trump, at this point in time, with at least 2 attempts on his life, and they tried to imprison him, and they went after his family. He knows. Unlike Amy Coney Barrett, he is willing to pay the price, and he's willing to put his family at risk for it. He thinks that this is that important. I think Amy Coney Barrett is scared. Now, I don't necessarily blame her for that, but she's not a soldier. And we need soldiers at a time like this. She's unfit for that job. She is unfit for that job, in my opinion. She needs to go back to teaching, do something else that helps produce for our society. I'm not saying she's garbage or anything like that, but she ain't got what it takes. She doesn't have the mentality or the inner fire or conviction or courage to take the risks that are required. And I'm using that as an example to show that what Trump is up... I mean, Amy Coney Barrett has a reason to be terrified. Right? I'm not calling her a coward. I'm just saying she doesn't have the levels of courage that this is going to require for her to be in her current position. There are stats out there that shows that prior to the Kavanaugh hearing, prior to Roe versus Wade, she voted with the conservatives 87% of the time. Post Roe v. Wade, that number has plummeted to 50 to 60%, if I remember right. Somewhere around 60%, let's say. And I'm saying that to indicate to you guys that this is real serious business. Trump is up against straight up killers. In the military, we have a nickname for CIA. We call them spooks. We don't trust them at all. A lot of times what you find, and we may find out once we get to heaven, that this is kind of what was required. So I'm not even, as odd as it sounds, I'm not even really throwing them under the bus. Maybe the job requires this, but we have found that intel agencies attract and perhaps even require, depending on what you're doing, sociopaths and psychopaths. These people don't have an empathy trigger. They're ruthless. And they don't see the world through a moral lens. They only see wins and losses. And so what Trump is up against is really, really serious. And I just do not think that he got up to talk tonight because something came across his desk and he saw, we have some proof. Let's just run with what we've got. No, this is all a plan. At the risk of sounding like Q, who I don't believe. I don't believe in Q. I kind of did there for a little bit because I didn't know what I was dealing with, and that so much of what they have to say just sounds. It sounds right. It sounds like military people talk, and the whole thing surrounding Q is that these are insiders that are leaking information to us and stuff like that. But the more I dug into Q, the more I found, holy smokes, this is probably not the group of people I want to be putting all my trust into. But at the risk of sounding like Q, this is kind of a trust the plan kind of thing, in my opinion. I don't believe for a second that Trump got up there just because somebody that can't see 5 feet in front of their face sees a move that they can make in a direction that they've been wanting to do for a long time and decide, let's just run with it. I think this is a phased approach. And it's not necessarily, 4D chess where they had planned from the very beginning of his presidency that they were going to release this information in the summer of 2026. But I think that they were going to release it once they had enough of a case built. And that, yes, it also was not going to be released too early before the midterms because they want it to create a scenario where things get passed to secure our elections, like the SAVE Act. So what am I trying to say here? Because I kind of switched up my answer mid-roll. I'm saying I think that there is an overarching plan at place, and we're not in the final phase. While at the same time not thinking that this was exactly planned out from the very beginning, flawlessly, a couple years ago. I think it was maybe some general kind of a plan was made, but who knows, maybe they wanted to do this last summer and they just didn't have the info they needed yet. You know, I don't know. I don't think that's actually likely. I think the midterms just makes the most sense, guys. If you're going to release information regarding an election being stolen, knowing that you need to shore up your elections, are you going to do that right after you won the presidential, or are you going to do that right before midterms, which you know are historically difficult for your side to win because you're in the Oval Office, and that's how American politics go. Right, so I just think it makes sense that this was the targeted time to release some of this info. But, man, Nessun Dorma, none shall sleep. Or no one will sleep. Am I faster than this guy? 3.5 speed, I'm at 2.8, I am not faster. Okay, fine. We will go raid another town. Where are you, Bogbeth? There we go. Oh wait, we can hit Uthalain. Take hostile action, raid the village, attack. Alrighty.
Hear me! Onward! Bowmen, spread close with them! Riders, hear me! Keep close! Horses, to me!
I'm actually going to have the entire cavalry stay with me this time. So, in my opinion, we're about to get some, I don't know, this is leading to something. I don't even know if we can say that we'll see public repercussions. I think that we're going to see some laws passed. I think there's going to be pressure in the background. I think we could possibly, in the final phase, see some highly influential or very popular names getting frog-marched. But I also think it's equally likely that justice is served off the books, behind the scenes, in the shadows. I think that's also just as likely. Oh boy.
Cavalry! At them! Horsemen! Dark now!
Where's this guy in the bear hat going? Straight to hell. Express ticket to hell.
Soldier! Leave not a one breathing!
Completely overwhelmed.
Horsemen! Ride! Kill them all!
All right. So, you know, we'll see. Both sides are pretty tough. The deep state, because they're just so entrenched and they have their levers on a lot of power, and they have people compromised, in my opinion. President Trump and his administration, because of competence, man, that's my opinion. Even the Democrats admitted that. Whenever he got in, this administration here, when he got in 2024, I remember seeing tweets that we found by them. Email traffic, tweets, direct messages, stuff that got leaked that said that they were in a panic because they said that the administration was so intensely competent and they were finding everything. They said it wasn't anything, we're in trouble. It wasn't anything like before.
So, tell me...
Oh, I'm still gonna win this, huh? Wow. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, to me, this stuff is so exciting to watch, and to me, this is like daytime drama, man. Now, maybe it's because as a Christian, like, I just kind of, I know where I'm going in the end, so I don't, things are not existential to me the way that they are to a lot of other people. So that affords me the ability to not be super nervous and tense about something that's very serious and has real serious consequences. So if you ever hear me talking about this stuff, like, you know, like using the terms, like, it's like daytime drama for me and stuff, don't think that I'm sitting here trying to mitigate how important this all is. It's just that for me, I'm not, even if we lost, that would be bad, and it would be probably a pretty bad life, you know, I think, because you're talking about handing the country over to communists. But
Horse! Get moving!
but I can get through it. It's just, it's my worldview, guys, and I don't know. Those of you who are Christian, you can understand it. I'm trying to think of how to explain it to people who aren't, but I think that would take me a long time. I've never done that before, so I think I would have to figure out how to explain that
In the square!
in a way that makes sense.
Horse! Cut them down! Horsemen, engage!
Okay. Here we go. Is that my guy? That is my guy. Oh boy. Yeah, we're gonna go get this one.
Yeah, yeah!
They are not very sturdy. This happened the last time I faced off against them also. Kuzites. Oh, he took that one like a man. Only 14 damage. Try and stay in his blind spot. He's faster than I am, evidently. He's just out of reach, man. There we go. One of my guys lost their horse.
Hear me! Charge! Cavalry! Charge!
I'll let my guys, the King's Guard, continue fighting their cav, and I'll bring in our wife, I forget her name, her and her unit, in to take out these archers. Oh boy.
Yeah!
My people, my front lines are starting to make it up. Making it up towards these back lines of the enemy.
Will be a spec.
Down goes Pelisor. Oh, that sounded like it hurt. Okay. We only lost 2.
I yield. Grant me.
Both of you are my prisoners. That's outstanding. We'll take as many as we can get. Maybe I'll make it to my castle this time around. I got... no, I do not want that. Give me back my balanced long glaive. Do I have a way to lock this? Lock. Okay. Because that's going to be a problem. If it thinks that the eastern long glaive is, or the eastern glaive is better. And I can see why, because the stats actually look better. I had to talk to AI about this. It's the fact that the long glaive hits harder. We don't care about swing speed as cav. And it has a perfect strike RBM stat. It's like 100. So every time you hit, you're hitting at maximum damage. It makes it easily better than the Eastern Longglaive, but on paper, that Eastern Longglaive looks better. I think even I'm going to keep the War Razor too. The Eastern Longglaive is really more for foot. Okay, there we go. Now do we have upgrades anywhere else? We do. Got a sword for Odegar. Gulta. Got a lot of stuff. Gloves and a couple weapons. Weapon. Sword. Gunner. Gets a sword. Sword. New throwing javelins and gloves. And Chechik gets gloves. Okay. So I know we're all waiting for big names to get arrested for all this corruption and the complicity. Even tonight, like ABC and NBC, I don't know about CBS. I think maybe them also, refused to air President Trump's speech. They aired Biden's speech, the scary one that was bathed in red, you know, blood red, communist red. Jiminy Cricket, they all aired that, right? So why aren't they airing this? Because they're complicit. Because they're complicit. I've seen a chart that shows just how many news anchors and heads of newsrooms are married to deep state officials and Democrat representatives. But mostly it's deep state bureaucracy. And we know the deep state leans left because of campaign donations. We have it on record. And those that don't lean left are part of the rhinos, just by definition, right? The establishment has owned this. Trump is the new kid on the block. So there's a lot of people that have been inside the Beltway as part of the unelected bureaucracy for decades on end, that the way that Trump does business is anathema to them. They hate it. So they might be Republicans, but these are the people that are saying that Russia is our greatest enemy and China's not a threat. That was a real thing that they put forth early in Trump's first term. There was a big argument about it. What in the world do we have going on here? Let's donate it. Here, there. Alright, we paid 300 gold. I guess we should raid. Since we're here. We should... Oh, our settlement is besieged. So, take hostile action and continue our raid. We were halfway through. Might be about to lose our settlement. And I remember seeing, gosh, what was it? It had to do with CNN. Kind of forgot what I was going to say. But showing how the news media is complicit against Trump. They've worked hand in hand with the deep state. A lot of them, it's because they want access. This is the way that the business model has taken shape over the decades. Government working right along with news media and with corporations. Now, what does that sound like? Because to me, it sounds a lot like fascism. So, we'll just kind of have to see what the effects are over time, but I will always, no matter how this thing turns out, and I think everything's going my way, so I feel really good about it, but no matter how it turns out, I will always be grateful that I elected Donald Trump 3 times. I voted for Donald Trump 3 times. I will never ever regret that decision. At least I can't see that at this point in time. I think this guy's been one of the best presidents in America's entire history, going all the way back to Washington. I'm not going to say the best, but I think he's been one of the best. He's been one of the most consequential. I think this entire place was totally captured. And that we were effectively a managed democracy. Have you ever played, what is that video game, guys? Helldivers? Have you played Helldivers 2? The whole managed democracy thing? That was built off of, that's what they were calling Russia at the time. This was whenever Russia, Ukraine were really hot. That was a hot topic in the public forums, and Russia was supposedly a managed democracy. Well, maybe. I'm not going to deny that. I don't know. But I think America has been a managed democracy for a really, really, really long time. Not a constitutional republic. A managed democracy. And Trump kicked that thing right in the teeth. We kicked their hornet's nest. We burned their dollhouse down, and they are pissed. They are pissed because we've destroyed their way of life. That's why you always hear them talking about we have to save our democracy. And I've said before, whenever they say those words, you have to realize they're not talking about you and them. They're talking about them, and they're not even talking about democracy. They're talking about their business model, their way of life, the way things have worked for decades on end. It's kind of like an old business during the time of not the Reformation, the Industrial Age, when you had new technology coming on the scene, and there were businesses that had been around for centuries that people's livelihoods were totally sunk into that, and that's what they were going to pass on to their kids, and they've been wealthy for a really long time because they own all of this land and they grow crops a certain way, or they make garments in a certain way, and they own all the means of production on that, and they've got kind of not really quite a monopoly, but they're one of the giants in their industry. And now this new technology comes along and it basically ends their way of doing things. Those people fight tooth and toenail to keep that technology from taking root so that they can keep their way of life. That's what these bastards are doing. We must protect our democracy. Every time you hear that, you should understand that that politician is lying his face off and asking for you to help him or her protect their way of life, their business model, what their family is anchored into, what multiple members of their family get the benefits from. Like, I don't know, sitting on the board of an oil company in Ukraine, oil and gas company that you never show up at, but you get paid 6 figures from. Yeah, there were multiple politicians who had that going on. They're really, really angry that their way of life is being ended, and I'm super happy I elected the one guy that would do it. The one guy, that he's a millionaire, he's a billionaire. They couldn't pay him off, but you know what, that part right there made sense to me. Whenever I started hearing about how the deep state functioned, and they will either bribe, or they will coerce, or they will threaten. But they start with honey. They start with bribery. This is what I've learned over the years. And Trump turned that down. They couldn't bribe him, so that made him a super threat, because that ain't normal. They were able to buy everybody else off. What's with this guy? Well, he's already independently wealthy, and he wasn't willing to take money to shut up. And that part I wasn't too surprised about. That to me made sense. The part that surprised me was that when they put him under lawfare and tried to take all of his businesses from him, or like make it so that he couldn't do business effectively in New York, and they tried to submarine not just him, but his whole family is tied up into that, right? That's their livelihood. That he didn't shut up. He didn't go away. He didn't take the money and go retire somewhere. He's always talking about how he's rich. He could have retired someplace nice and had a great life. And it's true, he could have. Instead, the dude stayed and fought so that he can do what? Work 10 to 14 hour days, get up at 4 in the morning, not come home till 10 o'clock at night, and donate his paycheck to charity because he doesn't want to get paid for this? I'm telling you, that dude's a saint, man. Those of you who have TDS, you're so far deep in the wrong that it's very sad to see that happen to a human being. But it happened to you, and you bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. You'll find out one day. I think everybody will find out in heaven. I'm not saying that you'll get sent to hell or anything. I just think that you'll find out what team you were playing for and which side you supported. And I think it's going to hurt. I think it's going to hurt. Shame will be involved in that. Very deep degrees of shame. The good news is everybody's ready to forgive each other. So you won't have to deal with the same levels of shame that people on that lived on Earth had to deal with whenever they were on the wrong side of history. So you have that going for you, but it's not going to be a pleasant experience. And then, so that already, that really surprised me, that whenever when they put him under lawfare, that's the coercion. And I just am certain that on the back side of this, they were offering him incentives to just shut up and stand down. And he didn't take it. So then what did they do? Then they tried to kill him. And that was truly shocking. When he literally got shot at and then stood up and said, "Fight, fight, fight," I was like, that's my dude, man. I didn't mess up in the least. This guy is the exact right guy for this moment right here. He has a conviction that goes beyond mathematical payoffs or odds or determining what's my best chances of this, that, or the other. That's a guy that's willing to pay the ultimate price just to fight you sons of bitches. And I love that about him, man. That dude will be my guy for all of time, man. I'm super happy to count myself as MAGA and to be one of Hillary Clinton's deplorables and to be a maggot, like some of you like to say. I've just never, it's just an invigorating thing to become anathema to pure evil. And I'm not saying that those of you who are on the opposing side that call us those names, that you yourselves are pure evil, but I think that you fight for evil, and you don't know it. I think that you've been co-opted, is what I think. But man, it sure is a great feeling on my end to be such a thorn in these people's sides that they have to resort to name calling like that. Not just name calling, like I've got names for lefties also, but for them, seething anger. You know, there were so many people evidently that were upset about flying into the new Donald Trump airport that the U.S. Airlines actually allowed them to change their destination for free. Imagine being so deeply distraught and offended by Trump that you can't even tolerate landing at an airport with his name on it. What are these people going to do whenever they get... Well, they probably won't, because it's the $1 coin. It's a gold $1 coin that has his name on it now. But a $100 bill that's got his signature. You know, TDS will make you do some funny things. But that's a level of seething hatred I've never experienced. And I'm somebody who felt like Obama really just tore this country down. What that dude was doing, how he was getting away with it, was kind of on the one. It was morbidly fascinating to me. So that was kind of my existential threat, you know, for y'all being in charge. And I never once came anywhere close to the level of mental illness that you guys are in. Oh man, what is it like? What is it like to be a progressive and have TDS? I truly don't know. You guys are like science experiments for me. I just gotta watch. You know, see, how can I avoid becoming this person? You know? And that's why I find it inwardly gratifying to have driven your side up the wall. To me, it's like fighting Nazis. I know that must sound ironic to you guys, but to me, I have feelings that I think are probably not as intense, but dovetail with the boys who stormed Normandy. Like you can sense in your bones you're fighting evil, right? And when evil exhibits absolute terror at what you're doing and and wants to fearmonger about you. And yeah, I'm your Darth Vader, man, and I'm super happy about that. It's a great feeling. I feel validated and like I've done something important. I've made a mark on history in a really positive way. They did take my castle. 952 strong. Let's not run into that. So it really is. I don't know. You know, I'm not someone who really necessarily requires validation a whole lot, but there's a difference between requiring validation and liking validation. And everybody, I think, likes validation. It's a good feeling, right? And I'm telling you, every time I see a liberal crash out about Donald Trump, I feel, and MAGA, specifically more so about MAGA, because obviously I'm not Donald Trump, but I am MAGA. I help make up MAGA. And, boy, it's just a fantastic feeling to know that, that we're kind of, you know, I like that phrase, we're burning down their dollhouse. I don't remember where I got that from. It was a movie. It had Mark Wahlberg in it. And it was one of the lines that he said. So I thought that was pretty good, and I've always remembered it. I want to know how we're doing. They took a castle, so that's a big deal. We're stronger than them. They are more exhausted. No. Yeah, they're more exhausted than us by quite a lot. Oh, we took a town. No, I'm sorry. These are casualties inflicted. See, I don't like the way that this is labeled. This feels like it belongs to this, but that's not how it goes. It goes, this is this bar right here. This belongs to this bar. This belongs to this bar, and so on and so forth. So they've taken one castle, and we've raided 6 villages. Okay. We're gonna try and, I guess, raid Bogbeth again? Help yourselves, this is enemy territory.
Warrior! Close it! Riders! Archers! Scatterbands! Riders! Stay close! Horses! Stick to me!
Okay. So yeah, I do think that this event, this is not a reactionary Trump. I think there's a plan in place. I think we got more to come. I mean, Dan Bongino has hinted at that, right? So there's other vectors that support that idea. And I think it's a great time to be an American. Did you guys see that Canadian girl that slapped the American teenager for wearing a MAGA hat? She got deported. And her boyfriend evidently was, or her husband, I think it's her husband, was crying about it. And I guess in the video, like, he's in one of the rooms in their homes is what it looks like. And there's some kind of a poster on the back wall behind him that has something to do with, like, give your children to Satan or something like that. I think it's either a movie poster or it's advertising a book, so maybe there's some more explanation to that I don't know about. But on the surface, man, that just looks like well, of course a liberal has something disgusting like that up on their wall. These people are broken. I don't even like to say liberal anymore, man. What is happening on the left is you're finally, and we saw it coming. I've seen it coming for a long time. My dad actually has been talking about this for 10 years at least. Talking about how the left is going so far left that eventually it's going to force a fracture within their own party. And I think that that's what we're seeing. So that's why I'm trying to train myself to get away from saying liberals. And for years now, I've been drawing a distinction between liberals and the left. And I also make a distinction between liberal policymakers and lawmakers and voters. Because I think the lawmakers know exactly what they're doing for the most part, which makes them evil. I think the voters are just captured by rhetoric because they genuinely want to be nice to people, and they're getting sold on the plight of certain individuals, and they're not, I think they're not maybe thoughtful enough. I don't know. I don't think that's it either. That's really not it. It's how propaganda works. I've said before, propaganda will make a smart person really retarded, functionally retarded, in a targeted area. So, whenever you have empathy for the illegal immigrant, you're trying to be kind, right? You're trying to be nice to people. But then, what about the people who suffer as a result of that illegal immigrant? And that could be violent crime, to hospital bills, to insurance, to the cost of housing. We're starting to discover, we've got enough proof on the board to be able to say that, yeah, that's exactly what's causing the housing crisis. It's a simple supply and demand problem. There's a whole lot of demand because so many illegals have come here. So they're illegal, right? They're not supposed to be here. They didn't come here the right way. And you're trying to be sensitive to the human perspective of this. Maybe they're fleeing a nation that has no prospects, no future, and why would we demonize that? Well, because they didn't go through it the right way, and now it's hurting our economy, and it's, where is your heart for the people that's affecting? And they don't think that far. They don't think that far, not because they're stupid people. I don't think, not in most cases. It's because they're propagandized. It's because this thing with the illegal immigrant is shoved in their face. And also, I do think that some of it has to do with internet backclaps, just because, particularly with women, but not exclusively, being validated by your community and having people having people think well of you seems to be far more important on the left than it is on the right. And even more than that, having people not think ill of you is more important. So, see, there's a certain kind of person that seems to be drawn to liberalism. That's what I think. I don't think they're stupid. I don't think that they're bad character. Within these groups, you're going to have both, right? But I'm talking overall. I think they're propagandized and they're exploited on the specific areas that they are vulnerable to. Okay. Raided another town. Let's go back and sell maybe a Varcheg. Alrighty then. Tavern, ransom, trade. Oh, look, we upgraded in scouting. How did that even happen? I'm not the scout. We'll take that one. Let's just make sure about this. Is it where parties? Here we go. I guess our wife was the scout previously. 61, 51, 50, 50, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, 43, 28. Well, what am I? Vesna must be the one that was. Let's check her out. Oh, she's not going to be listed in here, is she? $110. Okay. And my guy is 51, so I'll just stay the scout. Oh, you know what? I really should put somebody else in charge because I'm going to have another future leader, right? Who's going to be my next leader? Let's figure that out. I don't think I would send the kids out just yet. They are probably, both of them, still skilling up. Although, who is this? Audric is very good at stewardship. Huh. Okay. Oh, I think the way to do this is to act like I'm... Yeah, because it gives you kind of the summary. Perrin might be a good pick. I'm surprised leadership isn't factored in. Vesna has already been picked. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Perrin. Karaslava could be decent in the future. But there are better picks here. I mean, Chechik is at 177 already. Audric at 157. Gulta at 131. Okay. Alright, well, I tell you what, we're at 53 minutes. Let's create a save point right here. Well, let's take one last look at the status of our war. Oh, they're at 98, so this is really close. Let's go raid one more village and see if we can push them over the edge. Yeah, look how fast they gain in leadership and stewardship. Oh, you know, because I have a mod that shares my experience with everybody else. Hey, there it is. There it is. Botanians and Nords have made peace. Okay. Well, the only thing that happened here is I lost my castle. I think that's all. I don't think we took anything from them. They did take... No. Ustakal is mine. Oh man, how did we hold this off? Oh, it was given to somebody else. It must have been. Oh, that sucks, man. When did that happen? Clan, fiefs. Yeah, I don't have any castles. That sucks. I'm upset about that. They should have given that back to me, man. I saw it said owner. Clan Throssaneering. Well, alrighty then. Guess we're waiting for the next war. We are, let's, break up our party. And she can start to rebuild. She'll do that on her own. Next episode, we'll probably work on establishing another party, but I don't know, it's a little dicey now because we're not getting that income. So we're going to be losing a lot of money. They're still charging me for Ustakal's guard wages. I guess that'll end next month. But, there's not any kingdom decisions to be made, is there? No, that would have popped up right here. Yeah, they just straight took it from us. Not happy about that. Oh well. It wasn't my favorite castle to begin with. Sidunrik, so it's the leader. Yeah, he's the leader of the Nords. Hey man, can I have that castle? Let's do this and just see how it goes. I wonder if I can ask him for a castle. I doubt it. We're going to head back to the Nordic lands. Ah, here we go. Vote for new owner of Ustakal. Excellent. Give that shiznit back. Okay, good. Now we are going to head north, but first I'm going to go to Ustakal. I'm going to make sure everything is running fine there. As you know, we have a governess. The governess that I had there before is still in charge. We have money there to get things going. I'm also thinking to maybe start storing weapons there so that I can maybe get into smithing. You know, that's an idea. These are the kinds of thoughts that I have for moving forward, and until then we're waiting for the next war. So I won't record another episode unless we're at war. Unless I come up with some reason that I think that there's enough going on that you guys should see. So that's part of why I'm kind of telling you what I'm up to here, what I'm thinking. Alright guys, well, you know what? God bless America, man. 250th birthday. It's been a great summer so far. And we are chasing down the 2020 stolen election. I don't know if we're going to get any heads off of that, but the biggest thing here, and I think Trump said it tonight, the biggest, most important thing, we should not lose sight of the goal. The goal is to make sure that U.S. elections are not stolen, especially by foreign influence in the future. Whether that's blue or whether that's red, I don't care. I don't care. And if you're blue, thinking to yourself like, well, you know, it was against Trump, so at least it worked out in our way. Man, F you straight to hell. You don't have the right mentality. That's such a stupid... Who can hold a country together with people like that? Now, I haven't run into any lefties who have said that. I just kind of think, because I've seen what you cheer for. I don't think that you're necessarily the most stable people out there. And, TDS is a real thing. So anyway, it looks like she is in charge here. Let's manage. Oh, yep, see. There we go. Now you're in charge. We'll give you some more money. And she's going to have to build up the loyalty before construction resumes. But when construction resumes... We've already got level 1 fortification, so I was able to accomplish that at least. Let's put siege workshop, mason, and roads and paths, and a Castellan's office. We'll load that stuff up. Okay, hit save as, and there we go. Again, I'm Aesop Grim. Thank you for coming by the channel. I hope you like what you saw. More importantly, I hope all is well in your neck of the woods. And I'll see you in the next episode, where the story continues.
This place ain't no such thing as civilized. It's man, so in love with greed, he has forgotten himself and found